As part of its plan to conquer the world, Netflix has been wrapping up its production on all of its originals, not just the stuff that they've been leasing, but more importantly, they've been wrapping up production on the stuff they actually own. And part of this is a show that recently came out that I want to talk about, and that is The Dragon Prince. This, unlike some of the shows that are lease, I don't think lease is really the right word, but unlike some of the shows that Netflix has bought the rights to show in America, but they're shown by someone else in different countries, this show, I believe, was actually made for Netflix, which means Netflix actually owns it. One thing I actually like about Netflix owning it that I've been seeing on the Netflix originals, the ones they actually own, tend to have better language options, or the ones that were at least primarily made for the purpose to be shown on Netflix. Anyway, The Dragon Prince is a fantasy animated series from at least one of the people who worked on The Last Airbenders. I believe it's not the creators. I think I looked it up on Wikipedia. It's Aaron. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Ehatz, and he was says he was a head writer and director on the Last Airbender series, which you can see a lot of influences in this. And I don't know. I don't know if anybody else is on the Dragon Prince worked on The Last Airbender, but which might be the case. I'm just going off of what I see on Wikipedia. But one of the two co-creators is somebody who worked on The Last Airbender. So the first season just came out. It came out on September 14th, and I believe I'm trying to remember. I think it's only 10 episodes, or maybe even less than 10 episodes. It's not very long, and I don't think it's been announced whether it's, well, it just came out, so it hasn't been announced if there's going to be a season 2 or not. It's set up just like The Last Airbender with books. So, and book 1 is book 1 Moon. And the beginning of the show starts off with telling you that there's, 6 different types of, that there are the 6 different types of primal magic, or where magic comes from. And then there's the 7th, which is dark magic. So I can imagine if they get a chance to continue the series, they probably at least have a map plan of 6 or 7 seasons. If 7 seasons, if they do dark magic as like the 7th season maybe, because the 6 seasons, the first one's Moon, and then they also have Sun, Earth, Sky, Ocean, something else I'm forgetting. It doesn't matter, but yeah, you get the general point. And so it looks like they kind of planned it out. One of the things I noticed with their first season, it does feel a little short for my taste. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit longer. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I like I said, I wish it would have been a little bit longer. 10, or I don't know, I can't remember the amount of episodes. It wasn't very long, and it felt like I would have enjoyed 20 episodes or so. But I guess I would definitely like to see at least a second season. I mean, I would kind of hope with the structure of the show they at least get to do 6 seasons, but we'll see if that happens. Like I said, I quite enjoyed it, and it doesn't take that long to watch. I think the episodes were like a half hour, so it's perfectly able to binge in a weekend without going crazy. Typical fantasy setting. Humans, elves. Elves in this world have horns, so it's not just that they have pointy ears, they have horns, which is interesting. I guess it's a little more unique than just having pointy ears. And then they also have the normal elf thing of that they live really long compared to humans. And there's dragons. And yeah, there's a lot of the world that still needs to be filled out. But this is, of course, just the first season, and I'm assuming I'm assuming more seasons would fill out the world and have show you more of the magical side, especially once they get closer to Zadia. Because the main continent is pretty much split between Zadia, where all the elves are and all the magic is, and then where all the humans are, which I don't remember if they gave it a name, but let's just call it Human Land. And so maybe in the characters, the main plot of the show is that the two princes and the elf assassin are trying to return the egg, which was thought to have been destroyed, to the Zeta land because it's the Dragon Prince. So that's where the title comes from. And at the end of the season, the Dragon Prince actually hatches from the egg and would presumably be a main character. Though I don't know how fast. I'm assuming if they continue the series, dragons will probably mature faster than you would think, considering their size, because I think that would be more interesting to have like another character that can actually reason and do stuff. But well, we'll see what happens. I kind of hope that the future seasons are a little bit longer. I would say 13 episodes at least. One thing that's been pretty divisive about this show is the animation, in that it's pretty choppy, and I guess this is a deliberate decision, because this is a 3D animated show, but it's shaded to look 2D-ish. I mean, it's done pretty well, because if you look at the still images, some of them do really look just like a 2D animation, and then but watching it, you can tell it's definitely 3D models. And honestly, when I was watching it, I didn't notice it. Like, I really didn't pick up on the choppiness that much. Maybe a little bit, but it didn't. It was never anything that bothered me. I know some people have been complaining about it. They don't like the choppiness, and I don't know. I'm not willing to really get into a whole complaining thing about animation quality and all of that stuff, so I'm not going to go into that. I liked it. I didn't notice the animation that much being too choppy or poor. Rewatching it after hearing people's complaints, I can see what they're talking about. It is like the animation is very like more choppy than it needs to be, because they've deliberately lowered the frame rate, I guess, to look. One, I don't think it's not. I don't think it's just to combat the 3D computer generation of it. I think they also lowered it. I guess from what the term I've read, it's has to do with because everything looks a little too floaty. I don't know. I'm not an animation expert, but it didn't bother me, and I think really it depends on how well you do with motion. Like if the motion of something looks a little off to you and that really bothers you and you're not able to watch it, maybe that'll be a concern. But otherwise, you should be fine, and it wasn't a issue for me. I really liked the design of the art style and the characters, and that's basically the thing that got me to watch the show, was just the art style. I really like it, and I don't know. I like the design of all the characters. My only thing is I wish I gotten a little bit more. It kind of felt like there wasn't a complete arc through the season, and part of that I know is it really does feel like the first part of a like 6 or 7 part series, and like compared to Airbender, like the books felt a little bit more complete in Airbender. Like if you look at Airbender, The Last Airbender, book 1 had a beginning, middle, and finale. And this series, book 1, it kind of had. I wouldn't even call it like a finale. It's more of like it's a good point to stop the season and then go on to the next one, I guess. But it doesn't really feel like a complete book. It's part one of 6 or 7 or whatever it's going to be, but it's not. It doesn't feel like a complete story in itself. Whereas The Last Airbender, books 1, 2, and 3 did feel like complete stories, even with book 2 having a cliffhanger ending. Whereas this feels, I don't know, it just feels a little short, which isn't terrible. And this is just the first season, and hopefully people like it, so it'll get picked up on more, and it's not just this loose hanging thread. Just to go over the characters a little bit, I like the princes, the elvish assassin I liked. So Viren, I don't really know what's going on there. I think I saw people's response was they felt like he kind of just turned to evil villainy right away. And I kind of feel like I'll have to see what happens with that character, because it's not really clear. I kind of felt something was off with him from the beginning, and it kind of felt, I wasn't really surprised when he turned out to be evil. Though, because, I don't know, we'll have to see. I kind of feel like maybe there'll be a little bit more nuance to that. It'll be a little more complicated, because I feel like it's either he was playing everyone from the start and he's actually evil. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that he's that evil mage from the beginning who, discovered the dark magic. Or either that, or it'll turn out to be something more complicated, where he thought he was doing the right thing, and I don't know. We didn't specifically see the king die, so that's always a thing of, if you didn't see it happen, maybe he's not dead. I kind of prefer if, he's just dead, and they just didn't show us because it's kind of a kid's show. But whenever, in like especially series like this, whenever you don't see it happen, then there's a good chance it didn't actually happen. Oh, with the two characters, I just the two characters that were Viren's son and daughter, the mage girl and the I don't know if he's a knight really. That's another thing that like made the story sort of feel incomplete, as in we were kind of just they're tracking them, the princes, and she does a spell, and then basically they send the light thing, so that means they're going to be able to find them. But then it's just that's the end of the season. So that's definitely something that doesn't feel like it got to a complete story yet. Which, like I said, it's season 1. It's much more of a just part 1 than Last Airbender. But I'm interested to see how it plays out. I want to see a season 2. Hopefully they make a season 2. You never know with these shows, though. So those were my thoughts on The Dragon Prince, now streaming on Netflix. If you have anything to add, feel free to comment below. All that good stuff. Also, feel free to comment and tell me any other shows you would like me to talk about, or, anything else you would like to see from me. I don't know. My channel's still growing. I'm still doing different stuff. I'm not really putting out content at a huge rate yet. We'll see. I mean, with my current work situation, it's not always the easiest to make videos, and just living in New York City in general is not the best environment, because you're always stressed about money and everything, and it just makes making videos even more harder than it needs to be. So usual YouTube business, please like and subscribe. I really don't like having to say that, but I was watching this video the other day that was talking about YouTube, and that how you kind of do have to say those things, because apparently people don't even think about it, and you do need subscribers to even to grow your channel. And I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of watching videos where they say, well, especially it's hard. I really dislike it when they put it at the beginning of the video and they just, the first 10 minutes of the video are them saying like and subscribe and go to this and this is my sponsor and this before you even get to it. But I feel like at the end of the video is a little bit better. So yeah, like I said, like and subscribe. There's the little bell icon. It helps if you have. It helps me know that somebody is out there watching, because I feel like sometimes I feel like it's just me, watching on multiple devices, even, see if someone is watching. So, that helps. Also, comment if you have thoughts. That always helps. Or don't, I mean, I don't blame you for not doing it. It's okay. Well, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye.